In this video, we are going to learn about the functions that can be applied on Python strings. And also we are going to learn about how to combine two strings. This is a part 2 of Python string videos. If you haven't seen first video, then I will suggest you to watch that first because it basically covers the basics of Python string and how to access the elements in the Python string. I will link it in description. You can check it out and you must check it out before going ahead in this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rahul and you are watching Data Sapiens. Before starting on the functions that can be applied on the strings, let's first see if we can change a letter in the string. I have a string in my string variable. I have a string Python. Let's try to access the fourth letter in this string. If we run this cell, we will get O because the fourth letter or the letter at index position 4 is O, right? So we have got 4, O here. Now, if I want to change that O to something else, let's say I want to change O to I, can I do that? Or how can I do that? Let's try to do that by accessing. First, we will access the element at number 4 or at index 4, and then we will assign it to something else, right? Because first we need to tell the system or our code what element should we replace or which element we want to change, and then we'll say replace that element at index position 4 with I. Okay, if I run this cell, I will get an error. Now, this is because in the other collections that we are going to see, like list and dictionaries and sets, we can change the elements. But in Python strings, we cannot change any letter because it is immutable. Immutable basically means it cannot be mutated. That is, it cannot be changed, right? Now, let's go ahead and see how can we change the string itself. We can easily do that with the help of assigning the string to the same variable, right? Like in my string variable, there is a string Python. I can change that string to pythin because I wanted to replace O with I, right? But I cannot change in this way because it will not it will result in an error, and that's why I will have to do this way. And this is basically the way that this string that we have declared right now will replace the previous string in our box that we have talked about the variables, right? So my string is a box in which previously Python was stored, and after running this cell there will be another string that is stored in that cell. This is the only way we can change the strings in our variables. We cannot assign because we cannot assign any other letter because string object does not support item assignment, right? Now that's done, let's go ahead and see which functions we can apply on the strings. The first function that we have here is upper function. As its name suggests, upper function is used to convert the whole string into uppercase letters, right? Let's use that function. We can use that function with the help of my, my underscore string, that is our variable name, dot upper, and then parenthesis. And if we run this cell, before that we can basically print whatever the value we want, because without print it will not be displayed in the output. Okay, so as you can see, pythin, all the letters are converted into uppercase, and they are in the output. So this is what upper function basically do. Let's create another string, which is my string 2, and we will assign it to capital letters Python. Okay, there's another string that is stored in my string 2 variable. Now if I want to convert this string into lowercase, we have function for that also, that is lower function. Let's go ahead and see how we can use lower function. It's very similar to upper function, but instead of upper we will write lower. and this will result in Python in a small case, right? So as you can see, we will not be changing the actual string, because I have told you before also that our strings are immutable, that cannot be changed, that can only be replaced with another string, right? So we are not changing the string itself. String itself is in uppercase. My string2 variable contains the string that is in uppercase, but the lower function will convert that string into lowercase, and it will be displayed, and we can use it anywhere we want, but the actual string, it will not be changed. Okay. Now the next function that we have here is capitalize. It will basically convert the first letter in our string to uppercase. Here I have my string in which pythin is it's a string that is stored in my string variable, and I'm using capitalize function just like we have used upper and lower. And after running this cell, I will get only p in uppercase, because this is what capitalize function do. Next, we have find function. Now, this is a very interesting function which is used to find the strings or substring in our original string. Let's go ahead and see how we can use that, and where this function will be used most of the time. We are going to use find and count function that we are going to learn about after in some time. We are going to use these two functions the most, because these are the functions that can be used to find the substring, and also count the number of substrings that are present in our original string. Let's go ahead and use find on our, let's use that on our my string variable dot find. Now we have to enter in the parenthesis, we have to enter what do we want to find, right? Because we have to enter the substring. We can also enter something like only a letter, like I want to find I. What is the index position of I? It will give us index position of I, that is 4, right? Also I can do something like I want to find pi. What's the index position of pi? It's a substring, and I want to search that substring into my original string, my string, right? So it will give us the index of p, because p is the first letter in our substring, right? So whatever the index position of p in our my string variable, it will return that index. Now as you can see, we have p at the first position or the 0th index only. That's why it has written us 0. If I want to look for high, it will return us the index position of h, that is 3. So this is how we can use find function. Next function that we are going to use is count. This is the function that is used to count the number of occurrences in the string. I'll show you in a bit how that function is used. In this code will basically return the count of occurrences of I, right? If I run this cell, I will get 1, because my Python or this string, my string is containing only one I. Let's go ahead and make it 4, right? We have to run this cell again, because in my string, by only one I, the letter with only one I was stored. If we run this again, then this new string will replace the old string, and we will get and if we run this again, then we'll get 4, because there are 4 number of i's. So this is how we can use count function to basically get the number of counts or occurrences that the substring has occurred. Double I has occurred 2 times only, because as you can see here, double I has occurred only 2 times, right? We can count the number of occurrences of a substring or of a particular letter also. And this is how we are going to use count and find the most of the time. Also, we will use lower function when we take the strings as the input, and we'll see when we solve some problem statements related to the strings and the functions related to strings. There are many other functions like join, split, is upper, is lower. These are the functions that can be applied on the strings, but whatever the functions we have taken are the basic functions, and whenever we need some other function, we can check the documentation on W3 Schools websites like W3 Schools or Geeks for Geeks, anywhere, and we can learn about them there, and we can use those functions on our in our program also. Let's go ahead and see how can we combine two strings. We have two strings, my string and my string 2, and I want to combine these two strings and store the resulting string into some another string, that is my string 3 is equal to. How can we do the combining of the two strings, that is concatenation of the strings? Python has really simple syntax for this purpose. That is, we can easily add two strings with the help of add symbol, the symbol addition symbol. Let's go ahead and do this. My string plus my string 2. And if I run this cell, I will not get any error because plus symbol in Python is not only for the numbers. It is also for the strings. Strings can be concatenated with the help of plus symbol. Let's print our string. And as you can see, our my string had this string, and my string 2 had this for the string with Python, right? And these two strings are combined, and they are stored into some another variable, that is my string 3. Can we do that into a print function also? Yes, we can do that into a print function also. If we don't want to use that string again, then there's no point in storing it in another variable, right? Because it will basically consume memory only. What we can do is, we can, inside our print, we can add these two strings, my string plus my string 2, and this will give us the same result. If we don't want to use this string anywhere else, then there's no need to store it inside a variable, because it will increase the space of our program, and we don't want that to happen, right? So we can do this this way also. Let's say I have a string that is print hello is okay, hello my name is, and then my name is Rahul. I am printing something like this, and this will print whatever the string that I have written here. Hello, my name is Rahul in the output. But what if this name, this Rahul name, is stored in some another variable? Let's do that. Let's insert a cell below here, and if I want to store the name of like any person, I will use a name variable, and let's store Rahul here. Okay. If I want to replace that this name Rahul with this name, because this variable can have any name, right? It's not only a it's not necessary that it will contain only Rahul. It can contain another name like Yash. Let's go ahead and do that, because it will be easy to understand that way. Okay, now as you can see, name can contain anything. Okay, so if I want to basically use that name variable inside my print function, this is also a type of concatenation that we are doing here. We cannot use it directly, because if we use it directly, let's go ahead and run this cell first, and after running this cell, it will print like my hello my name is name, because in the single strings, that name is basically a string, right? It's a part of a string. It's not a variable. So how can we make it a variable? We can do that with the help of plus again. We can do that plus name. Okay, and this will result in the same. We have another method, that is we can use comma here, and this will result the same, that Yash will be printed at the last. Okay, another method for this is dot format method, which is what I prefer to use. We can do that with the help of curly braces here. Now these curly braces are basically to tell our print function that some variable is there. If dot format method is used, then that curly brace will be replaced by that variable that is present in our parenthesis here. Like I have used name here, right? So dot format, and in the parenthesis I have put that variable name. Now what this will do is it will replace the curly brace with the name variable. Whatever the value is present in name variable, it will be the curly brace will be replaced by that value, and we will get yash here. There's a simple format in which we can write the dot format, or it's called f string. We can basically write f in front of the string. You can see here I have written f outside my single quote, and this is how it is done. And in the curly braces we can use the variable name. Now this is the method that most of the people are following these days, because in the curly braces itself we are writing the name of the variable, and we don't have to remember the sequence in which we have got the curly braces. We'll take another example and see how dot format can be sometimes can be frustrating, and how f string can help us remove that frustration, and to make it easy for us to concatenate the strings. Let's go ahead and run this cell, and we will get the same result, because f string is also a type of concatenation. We are doing the type of concatenation here, right? Let's go ahead and make another variable, that is age, and uh, 20. I'm putting the value of 20 here, and I want to extend this string and say hello, my name is name, and my age is age. Now in the f string, whatever the curly braces are, whatever the values that are in the curly braces will be replaced by this variable values, right? So if I run this cell, sorry, I didn't run this cell first. And if I run this cell, I will get my extended string as hello, my name is Yash and my age is 20. Let's use dot format instead of f string. We cannot write anything inside our curly braces when we are using dot format, because whatever the values that will be replaced by the curly braces will be written in the dot format or in the parenthesis after dot format, right? So my name is name, comma, age is age. Okay, if I run this cell, I will get my name is Yash and my age is 20. Let's say I do something like this here, dot format age, comma, name, and I run this cell, I will get hello, my name is 20 and my age is Yash. So what dot format is doing is it is taking from left to right, it is going from left to right in the string, and it is taking for curly brace. Now here it found the curly brace first. It will replace this curly brace with the value that is present in first variable that we have provided here, right? We have given age, so it will replace first curly brace with age and second curly brace with name. So this is how dot format is basically it works, right? And this can be frustrating sometimes if we have a very big string. Yeah, if we have a very big string and we have many variables that are used in that string, so we will have to remember the order in which we want to print those variables, and we will have to provide these variable names in that order only. So this can be frustrating sometimes, but f string will solve our problems, because we are going to write whatever the variable names are inside our curly braces itself, right? So it will not be a problem when we are using f string. It depends upon individual what we want to use. We can use either f string or dot format. If you want to add something at the end of the string, then we can use plus also, or comma, that we talked about earlier in this video. And this is how string is basically concatenated. The input function that we used earlier to take the inputs from the user, the default input type is string, and I'm going to show you how that is string and how that will affect our code. Let's go ahead and create two variables. First is a is equal to, let's take the input. I will say enter a number, okay, and then b is equal to input, again enter a number. I want to take two numbers as input. and then I want to add those two numbers and print those that addition into our output. Let's run this code. I will get a cell. Let's enter 45 here. Let's enter another 45. Result should be 90, but it's 45 45. Why is it? Because the default input type that that is taken by the input function is a, or sorry, it's string, and whatever the value is stored inside a, we are entering a number, right? 45, it's a numerical value, but it is stored in the form of string. So in a and b there are two strings that are stored, 45 and 45, and as we saw earlier that we can concatenate two strings with the help of plus function or plus symbol. Here the two strings are concatenated and we are getting 45 45 as a result. How can we uh, how can we not do this in our code? If we want to take the numbers only as an input or integers as an input, how can we do that? There's a easy method to do that. We will basically enclose whatever inside our input is, or whatever the input statement is, we are going to enclose that inside another function, that is int. Now it is very easy to remember because int is basically a short form of integer. We want to convert our input from string to integer, and that's why we are enclosing whatever the statement here is with the int function, or we are in the int function, and we are and after running this cell we will get a as an integer, but b again will be a string. Let's run this cell and enter some value here, and we will get an error because now what happened is unsupported operand types for plus, int and string, because a is an integer and b is a string, because we have converted a into integer and b is itself a string, as we talked about earlier, right? So we can convert this into integer as well with the help of the same function, int function. And if we run this cell again, we will get 90 as expected, because now both the variables are having this value of 45 as an integer. Okay, we can similarly take the inputs floats, or sorry, float, and again here float. We can enter a number 45 45 here, but as you can see here, even if I'm entering value as an integer, 45 is an integer, right? 45.0 is a float value, but our Python is good enough to convert that integer into a float value. So it converts that 45 into 45.0, and the b variable that was 45 again, it will convert that into 45.0, and the addition of two float numbers will be into a float number, that is 90.0. And this is how we can change the data type of the input, whatever the input we are giving here. There's another thing that we need to consider is it cannot change the data type of a letter, because letter is it cannot be converted into a float or anything else, right? Let's say I enter a here, it will show us error because could not convert string into a float, because a is a letter. It cannot convert that letter into a float value. It can only convert whatever the numerical values we are entering in a string. It can convert those values into a float, but it cannot convert a letter into a float. So this is a thing that we need to remember while entering the inputs. We need to enter the whatever the input is specified in our instruction, that is enter a number, then we need to enter a number only. Similarly, if there's enter a name, then we will enter a name, and it will basically take the name as the input, and we will not use float or anything else, because the default type of input is itself a string, right? That is it for this video, guys. If you like this video and you want to learn more about Python, you can subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. You can share this video with your friends to help them learn Python, and I will see you in the next one.